What's going on, Vikings fans? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome in to our weekly live show where we break down the latest around your favorite football team. We're talking training camp. We're talking Sam Darnold versus J.J. McCarthy. Could the Vikings make a possible trade to bring in another corner? We're going to be talking about it all on today's show. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you guys love the Minnesota Vikings, give me a skull down in the comments section. I'm going to get this off my chest. I'm going to make this clear early. We reached $350 in Super Chats last week, and I said I was going to go or run 1 mile for every $10 that came in. I am sorry, Vikings fans. I was not able to get to it this weekend. Saturday, I had some stuff come up, and then Sunday, we actually had a playoff basketball game, so I went and worked out on my basketball game, and then Monday had the playoff basketball game, so I wasn't able to do it. I know I'm a fraud, but I will do it this weekend or probably next week. I'm actually taking some PTO for the next couple of days, but it will get done. I promise you guys. I promise. No doubt. I kind of felt like a fraud for not doing it, but it's whatever. I just had some other stuff pop up. But give me a skull in the chat if you guys love the Vikes. We got Boris in there. United Mexican States. How you doing? Matt Wag saying Darnold should start. Roger Bong saying Skull. Joel saying Skull. Shout out to you, Roger Bong. Also, guys, shout out to Roger Bong. You see him in the chat. We're going to be doing a whole segment around an idea he had, just breaking down Sam Darnold versus J.J. McCarthy. And I see a lot of people talking about it already, so I'll kick it to you guys here. Pick a QB1. Because if I asked you guys this 2 months ago, everybody was typing their 14s. Everybody would be saying Sam Darnold. But as training camp's gone on, we've gotten more information. We have seen more clips. I think a lot more people are leaning J.J. McCarthy. I don't necessarily have my own answer for this right now. I'm still probably leaning Sam Darnold, but it's a polarizing conversation. So you guys let me know. We got Joel going 9, Salih, the Viking, going 14, United going 9, Boris going 9, Joel going 9. It's a hot topic. I don't have a definite answer just yet. I'm going to wait till the preseason, see more of training camp, and then I'll finally give you guys an answer, before week 1, as Logan saying JJ is a one-read quarterback. Logan, that's just you've been listening too much to the Twitter comments if you think that's the case. Tom saying want to see them play good, no matter who it is. Yeah, 100%. I mean, we're going to be supporting either of these quarterbacks right here. Sully saying it's just camp practice. Darnold will be ready for that. Yeah, I'm with you. But I don't know. Boris saying 9 as well. Now, we got more coming up in just a second, but I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor of our live show, Game Time. Download the Game Time app and use promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Use promo code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, and we'll hook you guys up with $20 off your first purchase. Game Time is the #1 ticket marketplace out there, and if you guys are looking to go to a Minnesota Twins game this summer, you guys are in luck. As Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually goes down closer it gets the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, let's kick into this here. Who are you most excited to watch this season? As my man Roger Bond came in with the super chat. Shout out to you, Raj. We'll show you some love here in a second. Shout out to Buddy Bear also in the chat as well. But Roger coming in with a $10 super chat. Text. We're actually going to post this as a part of the Sam Darnold segment. I'm going to have this. I'll put it in the script after the L3. So, Roger, we'll get your thoughts up on screen here as we do have a segment dedicated to Roger Bong. He picked a segment idea. I said if anybody sends in a $100 super chat, you guys can pick a show. And Roger Bong want to talk about Sam Darnold. So let me put that in the script for the show for you guys, and we got it. Alrighty, yeah. So that's what we're gonna be talking about. But Roger Bong saying I have been on Team J.J. McCarthy from the start. However, I wanted to give him the best chance to win by developing him so he doesn't fail like so many first-round quarterbacks do, but it seems he is balling out. Yeah. I kind of honestly agree with everything you just said there, Roger. Like, I have been a supporter of Team J.J. McCarthy. You guys know this. If you guys watched us before the Vikings even accumulated another first-round pick to potentially trade up, I was pounding the table that they need to do whatever they can to get McCarthy. But I also said, if I think, McCarthy in terms of what's his best path to succeed in the NFL, I said it is sitting behind Sam Darnold for a year. I just, with him being 21 years old, I didn't think he was NFL ready to come onto the scene and absolutely tear it up. But however, Roger, if we have been looking at training camp over the past couple of days, he has been killing it. And, I think this quarterback battle, I think it's heating up. I think it's a lot closer than, even us fans think it is. So, Roger, I'll make sure to include this in the show when we talk about it. But, yeah, we are going to be getting to a mailbag later on today's show. So if you guys got a question, #Vikings, want to hear from all the real ones. As we got Gary Balster in the chat. What's up, Gary? Gary was a legend. If you guys want to show him some love down in the comments section, feel free to do so. But, hey, if you guys have a question you want to ask me, you guys can either send in a super chat. You'll skip the line and guaranteed to have your questions up on screen. Or if you guys just want to get in the live chat, #Vikings, best way to do so. We'll get your profile picture, your name, and your question up on screen next to me, and you guys can answer or ask whatever you want. I'll give you guys the best answer that I have. But coming up on today's show, we got the training camp latest, everything I'm hearing from the past couple of days. Then I do want to get into some early training camp winners and losers. And then we got the Sam Darnold hype video coming in from my man Roger Bong. And then we do have some rumors and some mailbag questions that I want to answer and give you guys my thoughts on. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. But hey, if you guys are ready to go, drop a like on today's video. We're at 26 likes right now. If we get to 30 likes, I think I'll give the go ahead and we can talk about the latest I'm hearing from Vikings training camp. Carlos saying, are the Vikings going to sign? Oh, you brought it back. Hey, Carlos, put that question back in there. I'd appreciate it. United Mexican State saying, woohoo. Gary saying, sup, Trist. Gary, what's up, my SKOL brother? We got a bunch of SKOL brothers in the chat. You love to see it. Roger showing love to Harvey. Yeah, Harvey Buxton in the chat saying, what blitz percentage do you think the Vikings defense will have? Love that question, Harvey. We'll make sure to include that. Whatever it is, it's going to be number one in the NFL. The Vikings are going to bring it, coming off the edge this season. Just Brian Flores, his MO, everything he's made of. Carlos saying, are the Vikings going to sign Gilmore or Howard yet? I'll give you my thoughts on the mailbag. That's going to be coming up in about 40 minutes or so. But, hey, if you guys are ready, we can talk about some training camp. Give me a SKOL down in the comments section as we get this underway. Let's get it. What's going on, guys? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, I just wanted to dive into the latest news and rumors and takeaways that I've been hearing from Vikings training camp, as it has been a drama-filled Vikings training camp with this quarterback battle heating up. So I'll give you guys everything I've been hearing and my thoughts on that coming up on today's show. But with training camp here, I am just getting more excited for the regular season. Like, we are so close to week 1 versus the New York Giants. And if you guys are excited as well, give me a SKOL down in the comments section. Show off your purple pride. I want the comment section looking like US Bank Stadium, 12 o'clock on big game day. So give me a SKOL down below if you guys are as fired up as I am for this season to get underway. Now, the top takeaway from training camp, you guys have probably heard it. You guys have seen the clips on social media. J.J. McCarthy is dominating. Now, there was a viral clip that a lot of these Twitter nerds got a hold of that J.J. threw an interception, and it was a bad interception, but it was funny how all these positive clips around J.J. McCarthy throwing touchdowns, absolutely putting the ball on the line, those don't go viral. But the one interception, that's the play that goes viral. It's pretty funny how, social media works in that. But Alec Lewis was writing up an article talking about how McCarthy has looked over the past couple of days, and he says his mechanics look more polished than they did this spring. Throwing left, not a consistent problem. Heaving it deep, McCarthy connected with Triston Jackson Tuesday afternoon on a 50-yard strike down the field against the first-team defense. Now, this is great news. I saw the clip of J.J. absolutely lacing the ball to Triston Jackson going up against Brian Flores and his first-team defense, and McCarthy's been looking the part. The one thing that I've noticed about him, and you guys will hear me say this probably 1,000 times over the next couple of years, talking about McCarthy, the zip he has on the football, it is actually in like the top 1% of the NFL. Like, I'm talking about windows are closing, you got to hit a guy on a slant route, and you got a little half-second window. McCarthy puts that ball in there faster than damn near any other quarterback. We can talk about, the whole arm talent in general, that may not be up there with that top 5% of NFL quarterbacks, but in terms of just juice and velocity on the football, he has it. He actually broke the scouting combine record for fastest throw in NFL history. So he's got juice. He's bringing it, and overall great news. But also Will Regetz, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, somebody let me know down in the comment section. Does great work for Sports Illustrated and Score North. But he wrote in my article saying this about McCarthy. This was another day where McCarthy's upside was evident, even if his good plays were mixed in with some learning moments. Following that deep ball to Jackson, McCarthy booted out left and showed his athleticism by scrambling for a decent gain when he couldn't find an open target. Later, in a red zone 7-on-7 period, he connected with Jackson again on a perfectly placed ball in the back corner of the red zone against man coverage. Now, my take on the quarterback battle right now. I have been saying for the longest time that no matter what happens in training camp, you start Sam Darnold and you sit J.J. McCarthy for a year because I'm thinking more long-term about the Minnesota Vikings. I retract that statement. Whatever quarterback gives you the best chance to win, you play him. I think this football team is criminally underrated in terms of what they can succeed this season. I think most Vikings fans are like, oh, wow, if we could somehow make the playoffs, I would be shocked by that. I would be thrilled. I want to let you guys know this. This is a stacked football team we have in Minnesota. We got the weapons, we got the offensive line, and now we have one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL in Flores who has talent on that side of the ball now. This team is loaded in terms of their full 53-man roster. It's going to come down to quarterback play, but after what's seen, what Kevin O'Connell did with Nick Mullins, Jaron Hall, and Josh Dobbs last season, I can't imagine what he's going to do with McCarthy and Sam Darnold. Whatever quarterback gives you the best chance to win, you play him no matter what. And also a key note that Will alluded to, talking about McCarthy scrambling. This is something I just thought about. This is the first time in 6 years the Vikings going to have a mobile quarterback. So those 3rd and 4s where, normally Kirk Cousins, if he doesn't see it on his first or second read, plays necessarily dead. We finally have two guys who have that playmaker, who have that backyard football type of feel to them in McCarthy and Darnold. I can't wait to see them continue to duke this out. And these preseason games, I'll tell you what, they got a whole lot more interesting. But from one quarterback dominating to another quarterback struggling. Sam Darnold over the past couple of days has not looked his best, and I don't want to overreact to, Darnold throwing a couple picks and, maybe him not playing his best football out there as, we've heard the reports on Darnold the past couple of years, like he is a great training camp, OTA's quarterback, but he doesn't get it done on game day. Maybe it will flip. Maybe Darnold struggles in training camp, then he dominates on Sunday. I'm not sure, but let's talk about what's been going on with Darnold. Will of SI and Score North said this about Darnold, saying, as for QB1 Sam Darnold, it was a fairly unremarkable day. He was solid in 11-on-11s, but struggled in the red zone period with defensive backs like Byron Murphy and Josh Metellus making strong plays for PBUs. Neither Darnold nor McCarthy threw an interception. Now, I'll say this, Sam Darnold's leash, you're pulling on it, it's getting a lot shorter, man. And especially with the fan base. I kind of alluded to this a couple months ago where I said, I think training camp's going to go around. I think Sam Darnold's going to have a day where he struggles and J.J. is going to have a day where he lights it up. And then the fans are going to be sitting there saying, put in J.J. McCarthy. We want to see him starting all 17 games. Look at what C.J. Stroud, did last season. And I understand all that. But, I just think with how good Darnold or how good J.J.'s been playing and, Darnold having a couple bad practices, I'm sure these guys in the locker room are probably saying, man, if J.J. gives us a better chance to win, let's just ride with him. So I still think Sam Darnold has the lead for QB1, but that leash is no doubt getting a whole lot shorter. But I'll ask you guys this. The question of the offseason, the question of the preseason, pick a quarterback one for me. Type 9 for J.J. McCarthy or type 14 for Sam Darnold. I'm still going 14. I'm still going 14 right now, but this is definitely getting a little tighter. But hey, you guys let me know your thoughts down below. Number 3 for me is we can steer away from the quarterback topic here real quick. What about Aaron Jones? This is the one signing of the offseason I've been hyping it up to, guys, as I really do believe he is going to be the biggest reason why the Vikings finally have a strong run game this upcoming season. Well, let's kick it to Alec and see what he said about the former Packers running back. As he says, when asked which players had stood out at camp so far, multiple Vikings players brought up Aaron Jones. Left tackle Christian Darrisaw specifically raved about Jones' skill set and how much the former Green Bay Packer could enhance the run game. Now, Christian Darrisaw, you're a smart football player. I hear what you're saying. I don't think he's going to just enhance the run game. I think he's going to fix it as a whole. You know, the Vikings have ranked 27th and 29th in rushing yards per game over the last 2 seasons. That's been my one gripe with Kevin O'Connell, is I felt like the Vikings have been too much of a finesse football team. Can't really establish a, consistent run game, throughout the later half of the season. We obviously know if you're going to travel to Chicago, travel to Green Bay in December and January, having a run game is so important. So hopefully Aaron Jones, especially when we head up to Green Bay later in the year, if he's cooking and he's going for 100 yards a game, that would be huge. And plus, you want to make the life on whatever quarterback it is a whole lot easier. Giving him a run game, giving him Justin Jefferson, and a great offensive mind in Kevin O'Connell is a great way to do so. But I got 2 more takeaways from training camp coming up in just a second. But I got to tell you guys about my favorite sponsor we have here at Chat Sports, Game Time. Shout out to Game Time for sponsoring today's show. And if you guys download the Game Time app and use promo code CHATSPORTS, we'll hook you guys up with $20 off your first purchase. Now, if you guys are looking to go to a Minnesota Twins game this summer, you are in luck, as Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. And with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Now, the 4th takeaway we have is not necessarily a takeaway from training camp, but we do have an update on what the hell is going on in the cornerback room. Obviously, with the Mekhi Blackmon injury, we signed Bobby McCain and Fabian Morrow. Like, those are good pickups, but could there still be a move for a Stephon Gilmore, a Dory Jackson, Xavier Howard still out there? Well, Alec Lewis actually wrote up a great piece about the Vikings cornerback room, a little longer quote here, so stay with me. But he said the Vikings are well aware of their cornerback issues. On Monday, they signed defensive back Bobby McCain, who has played the position, and they also moved safety Jay Ward. Key note here, safety Jay Ward out to cornerback for the first time. On Tuesday, they agreed to terms with the 30-year-old corner, Fabian Morrow, according to the NFL Network. Morrow started 11 games last year for the Denver Broncos. He has one thing many of the Vikings' backup cornerbacks don't, experience. But he also said this, does this rule out additional quarterback signings? No. The free agent market is not filled with high-end options, but Stephon Gilmore is the most intriguing. He played for Vikings defensive coordinator Brian Flores in New England, has started 33 games at corner over the last 2 seasons, and his production has remained. Adding him is a no-brainer, but the Vikings aren't the only team thinking that way. Gilmore's market is going to be robust, and the longer he waits, the more likely it is teams could need his services. Not to mention, the longer he waits, the less time he has to spend at training camp. My message to the front office would be this: be aggressive. I understand that maybe if we're looking like big picture here, that this isn't the year on the J.J. McCarthy timeline where we would think we should be going all in. Look at the Texans last year. They drafted Will Anderson and C.J. Stroud. They didn't have even close to the roster that the Vikings had around those two. But those two popped, led them to the playoffs, won a division title. They look pretty good. That's my argument to the Vikings. What if J.J. McCarthy and Dallas Turner pop year one? What if this is a Super Bowl year? Like, I know it sounds crazy, but what if they really do pop And this whole Vikings team is stacked. And I'll make this argument here. If we had Kirk Cousins on this team, who's probably the 12th, 10th best quarterback in the National Football League, we would be talking the Vikings making the NFC Championship right now because of how good the rest of this team is. Well, what if J.J. McCarthy and Sam Darnold play Kirk Cousins level football? We're talking about this football team in a whole different light. So be aggressive. If there's a corner out there that you think could absolutely change this defense, go out and get them. And my last takeaway here is about the tight end position. It's actually funny. I wrote this before today's training camp. Tonyan has been absolutely dominating, which is great news. But unfortunately, he did go down due to injury. I'll keep you guys posted on that. No real news from it just yet. But overall about his play on the field, though, it's been fantastic. And it gets me this: I'm not worried about T.J. Hawkinson's injury. I think heading into this year, I was saying man, are we going to be okay with running out Josh Oliver and Nick Muse, Johnny Munt as the tight ends? That was a little concerning, but with how good Robert Tonyan's played, I'm looking at this room a whole lot differently. If you're rolling out Oliver, Tonyan, and maybe you got N'Keal Harry, Munt, and Muse kind of filling in wherever, you're feeling a whole lot better about this tight end group. Hopefully Hawk's able to come back by, maybe week 7. That's a little optimistic, but that would be absolutely great. But overall, with what I've seen from the tight ends at camp, not worried about that group, being able to maintain its production with T.J. Hawkinson out. But I'll ask you guys this. There's a lot of players I am very excited to watch this season, but you guys let me know who you most excited to watch. Pick a player and drop that name down in the comments section. And also, guys, you guys can give me a follow on Twitter at PatSeeps is the handle. Closing in on 1,000 followers, actually. So if you guys could help me out, go give me a follow over there. I'd really appreciate it. But we'll see you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes. All right, you guys let me know who you most excited to watch this season. Gary saying, what does spam the hearts mean, United? Yeah, I think you can spam hearts in the live chat, Jerry. Pump the jam, pump it up. Yeah, United's got it going in the comments. Shout out to you. Roger saying 18, 3, and 83. Yeah, the receivers, man. I'm very excited to watch Jalen Nailor play this upcoming season. As Landon coming in with a super chat. Appreciate you, Landon. A little $2 super chat. We'll throw that up on screen here for you. United saying 9. Carrie saying Skol. Shout out to you, Carrie. But Landon, first time super chat. Appreciate you, man. Saying, I'm a big fan, Pat. I love your videos. That is very nice of you, Landon. Appreciate it. Love what I do. Chopping it up, talking Vikings with you guys. I mean, what else is better? But hey, this is Landon's first time super chatting. Make sure you show him some extra love down in the live chat right now. Give me a Skol Landon. We got over 100 people watching. I want to see over 100 Skol Landons get going in the chat. Let's go. Show Landon some love. Skol London, United. Get it together, man. Get it together, United. Come on. Harvey saying, I still think... Harvey, I'm not... We are not going down that path again. We are not going down that path. Remember when he got me last week with, he was like, you got to check out this guy, Urinator. That was incredible out of Harvey. That was incredible. I got on that. That was incredible. Carlos saying Skol Landon. Shout out to you. Gary saying Skol Landon. Carrie saying Skol Landon. Yeah, shout out to Landon. Very nice words, man. Appreciate you. Yeah. Thank you. But we're going to be talking about more training camp, just more general right now. I'm going to be giving you guys my winners and losers because normally when we talk about training camp, I feel like it's always optimistic. But now on today's show, I do want to go over some losers of that. So winners and losers from training camp coming up right about now. Let's get it. We're talking winners, and we are talking losers on today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. What's going on, guys? My name is Patrick Siepman, and on today's show, I wanted to get an early look at some of the top winners and losers from Vikings training camp. Normally when we do training camp videos, we're always keeping it positive, keeping it optimistic on the channel, but I do feel like there are some players on this roster who may have hurt their stock just a little bit throughout camp so far. But the biggest winner on my list, got to start off with the quarterback, man, and J.J. McCarthy has looked the part. And, I'll be honest, I was a little nervous about him heading into this season. Like, how good was he going to look? Because, he is only 21 years old. Like, if he was going to struggle during camp, it would not shock me a ton. But he has absolutely lived up to the hype, man. And it has just been really special to see what he has done. Specifically in the red zone period, he has looked great. But just the eye test and even just how he handles himself. You know, we hear the word aura all the time, just another word for swag, confidence, whatever it is. J.J. McCarthy has that. And I think that is so key for a quarterback. Like, when you talk about like a guy where it's, you know, a 2-minute drill, you're down by 4, and you know, if the other 10 guys in that huddle look at JJ McCarthy being like, man, I'd do whatever it takes to help that guy succeed, that speaks to, you know, who he is as a football player. But he's looking like what he was coming out of college, puts in tremendous zip on the football, and just, you know, everything I've been hearing about him has been good. So my biggest winner by far is the former Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy. But another winner, how about the big fella, Triston Darrisaw, franchise left tackle. He got paid, man, and it was it was great to see. This was a deal that I thought may have gotten done next offseason, but the Vikings decided to get it done, you know, during camp. And you know, I want you guys to look at the cap number. It's on the right side of your screen next to cap percentage, but he is on the books for this year for $6.4 million, and then he's also on the books for $10 million in 25, $23 million in 26, $24 million in 27, and then $31 million in 28, and then in 2029 he's still on the books for $28 million. So a great deal in my opinion for the Minnesota Vikings. He has been, you know, it's looking the part. Like, he is a franchise left tackle. He is a top 5 left tackle in the National Football League, and you know, it just makes me feel so much more confident about the quarterback position, knowing that both of these guys' blind sides will be protected by Triston Darrisaw. And also with what we've seen from him the last couple of years, he's only going to get better. He is still a very young tackle. You know, I thought he was a great pick out of Virginia Tech. So, you know, actually shout out to Spielman for that one. But my third winner, probably should have had him at number 2, maybe even number 1. What about a little Jalen Nailor? Now, if you guys watch this show for a while, you guys know I am one of the biggest Jalen Nailor fans in the entire world. But Vikings fans, I want to introduce you to your new wide receiver 3 for the season. Not official, not confirmed by any coaches, but I'm telling you guys right now, this guy will be wide receiver 3 for the near future. I just think his game, you know, matches up perfectly with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Super speedy guy, super fluid, getting in and out of routes. And you know, the thing about Nailor that I love the most is, you know, if you guys have heard the term late hands, like if the ball is up in the air, you don't want to show your hands as a wide receiver, else the DB knows to, you know, start swiping at the football. Couple clips from training camp. Nailor is just running. Ball is literally at his shoulder, and then at the last second, he just throws his hands up. Like, it is just really special stuff. And every time I see a clip of this guy, like, I just feel like he's got potential to be not only wide receiver 3 for the Vikings, but truly one of the best wide receiver 3s in the entire National Football League. Biggest question here. Shout out to Gary Balster mentioning this in the live chat. He needs to stay healthy. And I believe if Jalen Nailor plays all 17 games this upcoming season and he cements himself as the wide receiver 3, I think we're talking Jefferson, Addison, and Nailor as the 3 wide receivers for J.J. McCarthy for the next 5 seasons. And why is that so important? Because I think continuity and chemistry matter more than we think as NFL fans. And the Vikings offensive line, it's been pretty much the same. You still have T.J. Hockenson. We could be looking at an 11-man offense for the Vikings that could relatively stay the same over the next 4 or 5 seasons. And I couldn't imagine what that group could look like with Jefferson entering his prime, Addison entering his prime, if McCarthy takes that step, and then finally Nailor ends up showing out. It would be fantastic. Brandon Powell, you know, he's obviously going to fight for this position. He did have a bad drop in practice, but, you know, I think Brandon Powell, if I had to put money on it, maybe he gets the nod week 1. But for the rest of this season, I see no reason why not to put out there Speedy Nailor. Now, my 4th winner from training camp, I went with the head coach. I went with Kevin O'Connell. Now, you may be saying, how is Kevin O'Connell a winner? He's not even out there playing. Well, here's what I have to say. The Vikings have a culture, and it is being shown in practice every single day. Like what O'Connell preaches about, you know, being a process-oriented football team. You can see it has already stemmed down to even the rookies like J.J. McCarthy. I was listening to his press conference. He was talking about Kevin O'Connell and everything he preaches about not, you know, looking at others in terms of gauging your success, but really look internally and see if you can develop, you know, more on your own timeline, and that comes down to being obsessed with the process. And I think that mindset of the Vikings is something that is going to pay out in the long term, where if they just stick on this grind, stick on this process, oriented mindset, it's going to help this Vikings team in the long run. So Kevin O'Connell, I think he's done a great job of just installing a culture. I wish the Vikings would get a little more tough, get a little more rough and rugged in terms of their culture overall, but from everything I've seen from Kevin O'Connell, it has been fantastic. And also, bold prediction here for me, undisputed, this time next season, Kevin O'Connell is a top 10 coach in the National Football League. I feel like he's bordering top 10 right now, but this time next season, us Vikings fans are going to be possibly saying he's top 5, and I think the NFL media will call him top 10, no doubt about it. But speaking about this football team, I was looking at the odds. For the Vikings to make the playoffs, they're plus 300. To miss it, it's minus 400. Nobody thinks this team is going to make it. And I think it's ludicrous. I think if you look at this 53-man roster, it's stacked top to bottom. But we'll talk about that another day. But answer this question for me. Will the Vikings make the playoffs? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. I'll be slamming my Ys down in the comment section, and I hope you guys do too. But we got we got losers coming around the corner in just a second. But first off, I want to give you guys tell you guys about today's sponsor, Game Time. Shout out to the Game Time app, the best ticket purchasing app out there on the marketplace right now. And if you guys use promo code ChatSports on your first purchase, we'll hook you guys up with $20 off. Terms apply, first purchase only, but use promo code ChatSports and we'll get you guys $20 off. Now, Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. And prices on the Game Time app actually go down closer it gets to first pitch. Now, with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets this summer. Now, my favorite feature of the app is the views from your seat feature. You guys can specifically see what you would be looking at before you even buy the ticket. So if your view is going to be obstructed by, any type of, pole or something in the way of the playing field or, concert stage, whatever it may be, Game Time allows you to see, what you would be looking at before you buy the ticket. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. No big shocker here as the biggest loser, in my opinion, from Vikings training camp, Lewis Cine. And this was another situation where I was completely wrong about the safety out of Georgia. I thought this guy was going to be a stud. Thought he was going to, be one of the best safeties in the NFL, for the next 10 seasons. Just hasn't worked out. And also more disappointing news, Lewis Cine was out on practice field today, but again, not in uniform. Terrible news for Lewis Cine, as he's a guy that's fighting for a roster spot. These practices are very important, to him making this final 53-man roster. And, I just think it's more likely than not that he gets cut, especially with the Vikings signing Bobby McCain as for him to play safety. Like, then you're just thinking about it. Like, you got McCain, Metellus, Smith, Bynum. Then you also got Theo Jackson, who this coaching staff loves. We heard Jay Ward was getting run with the corners, but also Najee Thompson was getting run with the safeties. So even if the Vikings keep 6 safeties, Cine's not going to make that final 53. So unfortunate. I think just injuries and just opportunity, have not been the best in favor of Cine, but it is definitely looking like he will, get cut before the 53-man gets released. But another player who I think is 100% going to get cut, and honestly a guy I would cut, Andrew Booth Jr. Now, I think if you have looked at the Vikings' moves over the past couple of weeks, it is clear that the Vikings have no faith in Booth, and I think he will get cut in August. I don't think there would just be this panic from Vikings coaching staff and the Vikings front office about bringing in another corner if, obviously Booth was, living up to that hype of being a second-round pick. But clearly they don't have faith in him. Clearly they don't even think he is going to be on the team, in August, or else why would they be pushing the issue for adding another cornerback? Because let's just say he hit. Vikings would still have Shaq Griffin, Byron Murphy, Caleb Evans, Andrew Booth, and Duke Shelley, and then obviously now Fabian Morrow. They wouldn't even be looking to add in another cornerback. I think the Vikings are telling us exactly what they think of Andrew Booth, so that's why I got him as a loser from training camp. But another loser for me, and again, this is nothing he specifically did. It's not like he went out there and threw 5-6 interceptions, but it's got to be Nick Mullins. I think Nick Mullins' his best chance to make the 53 was if, let's just say J.J. McCarthy, goes out there and, he struggles and, Mullins would need to be quarterback too. But honestly, in my opinion, I would cut Nick Mullins. I don't see any reason, to use one of the 53 roster spots on another quarterback. Just have it be Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy, and that's it. There's no need to have three quarterbacks on this team. But, I just don't see a reason to, play him at all this season. We know who he is. He's not going to come into the league and, shock anybody. So I got Mullins as my third loser on this list. But let's kick it to the linebacker position. Another player who I was completely wrong about here. What about Brian Asamoah? Now, Brian Asamoah, I thought he was going to pop in the NFL. He was so fast, so explosive at Oklahoma, and he even popped a little bit in his rookie year. But Alec Lewis had this to say on Asamoah, saying a third-round pick of the Vikings in 2022, only played in 36 defensive snaps last year. He missed time in training camp and never fully returned to the lineup. So that's disappointing on Asamoah. But also, I was checking out the Vikings first-team defense. If you guys don't notice, we actually have Shaq and Kobe reincarnated in Ivan Pace and Blake Cashman. They look awesome. I cannot wait to see Pace and Cashman out there. Pace really carried that linebacker group last year. I know Jordan Hicks played well in spots, but man, Cashman looks the part. Ivan Pace in year 2. He's also going to be wearing the green dot, so I just can't wait to see those two out there. Obviously joking around a little bit with the Shaq and Kobe comparison, but man, they definitely look good. But hey, if you guys made it to the end of today's show, give me a skull down in the comments section, a little real one roll call, so I can know who all the real ones are. So give me a skull down below if you guys made it to the end of today's show. Now, if you guys want more Vikings content on your Twitter timeline, that's the handle up on screen right now, at Pat Sieps. Give me a follow over there, and I'll give you guys a follow back. But thank you guys so much for watching. As always, Skol Vikes. All right, really want to get you guys involved on this question here. Will the Vikings make the playoffs this upcoming season? Are they playoff bound? Let me know your thoughts down below. I would be slamming my Ys down in the comment section right now. Not going to lie to you. Rocky, a very negative Vikings fan, saying no. That's typical. Blop saying why. Pig saying why. Cameron saying why. United saying hell yeah. Roger saying why. Surprise. Gary saying no. Gary's going no. Harvey's going no. Okay, so you guys are saying nah. I understand it. They're a long shot to make the playoffs, but I just think they're going to shock the NFL this season. I think, people aren't giving their whole team enough credit. I just think, obviously it is a quarterback coach league, and I understand that. And with the uncertainty at the quarterback position, I can totally understand why you'd be saying no to this. But if you look at their whole team, and you look at what they did last year with some of the worst quarterback play in the National Football League, you're going to get an upgrade at that spot with Darnold or J.J. And plus, Justin Jefferson coming back. Harvey saying the division is too good. Yeah, what's funny about this, Harvey? The Bears have become the most overrated football team in the National Football League. People are talking about them as a dark horse Super Bowl team. I think that's blasphemy. I think that's a terrible take. I just think that's people, and I love this. I love when I'm hearing other people talk about, oh, the Bears got so much better this offseason. Yes, they did. They got Caleb Williams. He's going to be a massive upgrade over Justin Fields. No doubt about it. But people talking about Keenan Allen, like the Bears just picked up Devontae Adams in his prime, I just don't understand that. The division's tough, schedule's tough. I understand it, but I think we need to look at our own team and be like, man, we got some dogs over here in Minnesota as well. But will the Vikings make the playoffs? Let me know your thoughts down below. Now, we are going to be talking about Sam Darnold here, as I know he's been struggling in training camp, but I'm going to try to get some purple Kool-Aid going on today's show, as we're going to be explaining why he may shock the NFL. This segment's coming in from Roger Bong. He wanted me to talk about it. So, hey, if you send in a $100 super chat, we'll do a whole show around your topic of conversation. But, Roger, you better be ready for this. Let's get it. Why Sam Darnold will shock the NFL this upcoming season. That's what we're talking about on today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. Welcome into today's show. I do want to give a huge shout out to Roger Bong, a longtime viewer of Vikings Now. He sent in a super chat on one of our shows, and he wanted me to talk about Sam Darnold a little bit, go more in-depth on the quarterback position. So shout out to Roger Bong. He's a legend down in the chat. If you guys could, comment Skol Roger down below. But Roger also sent in his thoughts in a super chat saying this: I have been on Team J.J. McCarthy from the start. However, I wanted to give him the best chance to win by developing him so he does not fail like so many first-round quarterbacks. But it does seem like he is balling out. Now, I understand Sam Darnold has not looked the best in training camp. I fully understand that, but I still think people are now, swinging it to the other side where we are overreacting about a couple bad red zone periods from Darnold, and we're saying we fully need to go to J.J. McCarthy. Coming up here, I'll explain why Darnold is going to be successful, but I will get you guys involved here on today's show. If you believe in Sam Darnold, hit that thumbs up button, spam the like button, but if you guys don't, comment why down below. If you don't believe in him, let me know your thoughts in the comments, but if you do believe him, hit that thumbs up icon. Just want to get the pulse of the fan base a little bit. Now, disclaimer here. I understand he has not been lighting it up at camp, but I am still a Sam Darnold believer. And, for multiple reasons. But I think we've seen in the NFL that, in terms of evaluating quarterbacks, I don't feel like media members do a good job of understanding the support system that the guys have came into. Darnold has never had a fair chance. And now finally with the Vikings, he does. And I want to use two quarterbacks as an example. Look at Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield. Now, Goff was successful with the Rams. He made a Super Bowl. He looked good under Sean McVay. But they moved off him, and they said, we're done with him. And then he went to a new team in the Detroit Lions who believed in him, gave him a good support system, and now he just got paid $40 million. I'm not saying he's going to take that same jump as Jared Goff did, but could he take half of that and maybe lead the Vikings to a wild card game? I could definitely see that. But the one player I want to lock in here just a little bit on, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold have had very similar starts to their career. Got drafted by the Browns and the Jets. Two terrible franchises. Haven't really gave them the best chance to succeed. And now Baker went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led them to a playoff win, led them to a division title, and now he just got paid by Tampa. Let's look at these stats here from Baker Mayfield. And I want you guys to focus in on the 2 seasons in the middle, because those stats are very similar to Sam Darnold. Now, 60% completion percentage in 22, 10 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Not a good season for the Bake Show. Played in 12 games with the Panthers and Rams, but then even the year before that with the Cleveland Browns, 17 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. It's not like Baker, even a couple years ago, was nearly the same guy he is now. But when he got with Tampa Bay, with Mike Evans, with Chris Godwin, with Triston Wirfs, with a great offensive mind there over there in Tampa, he had 28 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. And you're telling me Sam Darnold can't do that? If you're telling me right now you don't think there is a possibility of this NFL season playing out where Sam Darnold throws 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 63% completion percentage, we're not asking for him to go put up MVP numbers. We're just asking him to just be a middle of the pack, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Tua type of quarterback. I think he can get that. And even more ammunition on why Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield are similar. They never had a fair chance when they were drafted to the original teams. Baker did make a playoffs and won a game with the Cleveland Browns. I get that. But big reason was that the Browns had a good team around him. Darnold's never had that. The Jets and the Panthers, then he was finally with San Fran this past season, but they had Brock Purdy, so he never got a chance, really take the reins of that. But they were also both top picks in the draft, had, a lot of potential coming out of college, and now finally they both have stacked teams around him. We saw Baker take that next step. Now can Sam Darnold. And, I think people, saying that, J.J. is going to play right away, I understand that, but money matters here. And I'm not saying that $10 million is, going to impact the decision to play or not play J.J. McCarthy. But this signing bonus is $6.25 million. That's already paid out to Sam Darnold. So I think the Vikings are going to at least see what they have in them and see if he can tap into any of that potential because, Darnold has potential. I don't think we give that enough thought here is he's bounced around the league a little bit. I think we just automatically assume we know who he is, but I still think there's a lot there to be desired in his game, and it's just going to come down to, obviously him himself, but also Kevin O'Connell, this coaching staff, and this team around him to see if they could get the most out of him. But I got 5 reasons why to believe in Darnold. Number 1, 26 years old. I feel like if you ask the common NFL fan, how old is Sam Darnold, everybody would be saying 30. Now, I hate showing love to the Green Bay Packers, but we should do that on today's show. Look at their 2 franchise quarterbacks after Brett Favre. When did they make their first start? Aaron Rodgers was 25. Jordan Love this past season was 24. You're telling me at Sam Darnold at 26, he can't unlock just a little bit more of his game and just take his game just a little bit, to another level? I mean, I'm 24 years old. I think about how I was when I was 20. I was a totally different person. I'm sure you guys watching the Today Show, think about how different you were when you were 26 compared to 30. If you're saying Sam Darnold can't take a jump, I just don't really, respect your take around Sammy Dimes. And, the biggest reason of this and why I do believe in Sam Darnold is he has the best support system around him that he has ever had in his life. And frankly, one of the best support systems any quarterback could have playing quarterback in the NFL. Taking a look at it. Wide receiver 1, Justin Jefferson. 2, Addison. One of the best combos in the National Football League. I think we're going to be talking about them as the undisputed best duo at the end of the season. T.J. Hawkinson, yes, he, does have the injury concern. I understand that, but I think we'll be able to maintain production with Tunyon, Josh Oliver, finally have an elite running back in Aaron Jones, and then also the biggest kicker, Kevin O'Connell here, man. We saw what he did with, the other 3 quarterbacks this past season. I think his system, it's going to work, and I think Darnold is going to thrive. Now, also this, he was a top 3 pick for a reason. He has all the intangibles. He has, that big frame, 6'3", 6'4", big body, absolute cannon of an arm. I think we're going to see that talent that is definitely there with Darnold be on display this season. He will have plays, and I'm sure we'll also see the polar opposite of it, where he's rolling out and he just absolutely delivers a dot to Jefferson, whoever it may be, and we're like, wow, Sam Darnold's got juice. But then we're also probably going to see the play where Sam Darnold turns the ball over, and, it's a complete opposite side of that. And we're like, man, how is he an NFL quarterback? There will be ups and downs, but I think we'll see the pop, and I think we'll see the talent a whole lot more than the opposite this season. But I want to ask you guys this. The number 1 question around the Vikings this offseason. Pick a quarterback 1. Type 9 for J.J. McCarthy. Type 14 for Sam Darnold. Let me know your thoughts down below. 4th reason to believe in Sammy Dimes is he's coming from San Francisco. And, what you're probably saying right now, well, what does that have to do with anything? Who cares where he played last? Well, let me get to this take. Now, I think everybody, in life and in sports are somewhat a product of your environment. You guys probably right now, I heard a quote one day. It was saying, you're 5% of every one of your friends, just a little bit that reflects in your personality. And I think, with Sam Darnold being with, San Fran, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, the whole 9 over there in San Francisco, some of the smartest minds in the NFL. I'm sure he got significantly better last season from when we last saw him in Carolina. Sitting behind Brock Purdy, who, whatever your thoughts are on Purdy, he had a really good year last year. He was the 20th or 28th ranked player in the top 100 for a reason. I'm sure he, learned a lot, he grew a lot, and I know it may be a little out there reasoning on why to believe in Sam Darnold, but I really do think that matters. Where you have been in your life is a big reason of who you are right now, and I think Darnold, coming from San Francisco, it will propel him to being successful with the Minnesota Vikings. Let's kick it to number 5 here. It's Kevin O'Connell. Now, maybe I've been drinking a little too much purple Kool-Aid this offseason and just listened to too many Kevin O'Connell, speeches, and I saw it in the Receiver documentary when he got fired up. He was cursing out this Vikings team, but I think Kevin O'Connell will be a top 10 coach by the end of next season. I think he is going to be, undisputed, a top 10 coach. I'm sure us Vikings fans will be saying he's top 5. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think the offense is going to be top 10 with J.J. or Sam Darnold. Frankly, it doesn't matter because last year what KOC did with Jaron Hall, Josh Dobbs, and Nick Mullins was special. I mean, I still think about that Falcons game where you had a quarterback who literally didn't practice a single time with your football team, go out there and dominate an Atlanta Falcons defense on the road, loud crowd. Kevin O'Connell's telling him to play in his headset, telling him the reads he needs to make. That's how special of a coach this guy is. I'm absolutely all in on him. And, I think he's going to be undisputed top 10. But hey, if you guys made it to the end of today's video, want to see if I can catch any of the real ones. Normally I ask you guys to say Skol or real one down below. But if you guys made it to the end, give me a Sammy Dimes down below in the comment section. I'll show you guys some love down there. Also, give me a follow on Twitter. That's a handle at Pat Sieps if you guys want more around the Minnesota Vikings. But shout out to Roger Bong for this video idea. If you guys also want to give Roger a follow on Twitter, just look up Roger Bong on there, and you guys can give him a follow. But see you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes. Alrighty, give me a Sammy Dimes down in the comments section. Shout out to Roger. Roger, I hope you like that, man. Just want to talk about Sam Darnold for a little bit. But we are going to be getting into a mailbag here on the channel. Use hashtag Vikings. Yeah, you got it. You just want to put up the hashtag Vikings? Yeah, real quick. Yeah. Hashtag Vikings to get up on, or you want to throw up a super chat? I think we got a couple come in. Yeah, we'll get to the super chats that came in during the cut here. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, Landon, we got the yours. Our funny boy Roddy saying people sleeping on the Vikings this year. If Sam Darnold shows up in the slightest, we are a 10-plus win team. Easy. Yeah, I'm with you, funny boy. I think no doubt. I think the Vikings are going to shock a lot of people. No doubt. Harvey saying this $100 question, can it be about anything? Not about anything. Obviously, it has to be around the Minnesota Vikings, but yeah, I would probably say around the Minnesota Vikings. Like Roger and I went back and forth on Twitter, kind of chopping it up. Because also like I want the video to do well for you guys. Like I don't want to just post it and have it get like 200, 300 views. Like if it's kind of like an out there topic. So I think the Darnold one that I did with Roger, I think that's going to do pretty well. Hopefully it's seen by, a couple thousand people. But yeah, I mean, Harvey, you can just, if you have an idea, you just let me know. Yeah. But funny boy, really do appreciate it, saying people are sleeping on the Vikings this season. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think people look at this roster and they don't give it, enough respect there. But really do appreciate you. Let me actually just click this real quick. Alrighty, there we go. Garrett Rustborough coming in saying, when it comes to the QB situation, Sam for now, unless he messes up badly, just don't rush JJ's process of development. Yes, that is a great point, Garrett. I don't want, I don't want Vikings fans like freaking out to like training. I know training camp highlights are fun. I know, it's like that little taste of real football, and that's all we got right now. But I don't want us, throwing away everything we already thought about the quarterback competition just because we saw a couple training camp clips. Excuse me. But yeah, that's kind of my thought process on it, Garrett. But I'm with you too. I still think they roll out Sam Darnold. See what you have there. I mean, you paid him a good amount of money for a reason. So yeah, that's what I think. Bloop saying, question, Pat, who is in a better position, Michael Penix or J.J. McCarthy? Good question, Bloop. We'll throw that on the mailbag, and I'll make sure they answer that. SKOL Nation. Is that what? Yeah, this was it. I clicked it. Yeah. No, you're good. What do you think about doing TikTok Live? Haven't really looked too much into that. SKOL Nation. I know they do pretty well, but yeah, I don't really have a good answer on that. But last call for our mailbag here. Hashtag Vikings. Get your questions up on screen. As Landon saying Skol Garrett. Shout out to Landon. Also, I think you got Kyrie Jackson as your profile pick now. That is awesome. Shout out to you, man, for that. But yeah, we're going to be getting into a mailbag. So hashtag Vikings. Sully the Viking. Great question. Just use hashtag Vikings in the chat. Helps our software pull it there. But yeah, get a question in there. Hashtag Vikings or super chat. Number one way to get your question up on screen. Connie Johnson saying defense top 10, Dallas Turner defensive rookie of the year. I agree with both of those statements, my friend. 100%. Boris saying we are not favored until week 9. How do you feel about that? I love it. I don't want to be favored in any football game because you know what we do here? You said what? Oh, I love the underdog. I love it. Then we could just say, why not us? Why can't the Vikings win the division this year? Why can't J.J. McCarthy have a C.J. Stroud-esque rookie run? Why not? Somebody answer that question for me, and I'll stop yapping about it. Oh, Garrett, Justin, thank you so much for bringing this up. we'll dive into the mailbag here in a sec. Justin Jefferson being rated as the 18th best player in the National Football League this past season is absurd. Tex just said it. He's a top 5 player in the NFL. I understand you want to go positional value about, quarterbacks are obviously going to get favored in that list. I understand that. But the fact that Brock Purdy was at 28, and then you look 10 spots ahead of him, and you have Justin frickin' Jefferson at 18, it is criminal. CeeDee Lamb was ahead of him. I understand CeeDee Lamb had a great year. He's a tremendous wide receiver. Top 5, no doubt about it. But there is such a gap, in my opinion, between Justin Jefferson. I'll put Tyreek up there. Tyreek's a great wide receiver as well. Tyreek, Justin Jefferson, and then there's a 50-yard gap in between who is wide receiver 3, probably Devontae Adams or CeeDee Lamb. It is a joke that he was 18. And you know what also, guys? Madden came out with the ratings. They took away Justin Jefferson's 99 overall rating, gave it to Tyreek Hill, and you know what, Garrett? It was a joke. I hate it, but I also love it at the same time because that chip on Justin Jefferson's shoulder is going to be massive. It is going to keep on growing. I just don't think people understand how really good Jefferson is. And I know this is going to sound like a ludicrous statement. He is becoming one of the most underrated football players in the NFL. I know it sounds insane. Justin Jefferson, everybody knows how good he is. No, I don't think people understand that this is a truly generational wide receiver. I think he has a better chance of being a top 5 receiver of all time than he doesn't. Most yards in the first 4 seasons. He has... I could go on a 10-minute long rant right now. I don't want to waste your guys' time. But, yeah, I thought it was a joke. Roger, keep on building that chip right there, man. Keep on building that chip. But, all right, let's dive into this mailbag. Let's get it. What's going on, Vikings fans? Welcome into Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and we got a fun show for you guys. We're the first half of today's show. Could the Vikings be trading for Marshawn Lattimore? ESPN's Jeremy Fowler threw that idea out there, so we'll talk about it. And then also, my favorite part of working here at Chat Sports is the mailbag, where we answer questions from Vikings fans. Make sure you guys are subscribed to get on our mailbags. But before we dive into that, guys, if you guys could help me out, I'm actually closing in on 1,000 followers on Twitter. So give me a follow on Twitter or X for more Vikings content. That's the handle, @PatSiep. So links in the comments and description of today's show. You guys give me a follow over there. I'll give you guys a follow back, but would really, really appreciate it. But let's talk about it. Is a big trade coming for the Minnesota Vikings? Should the Vikings consider trading for Marshawn Lattimore? Do want to make this note. Darren Wolfson said he anticipates the Vikings to bring in a big-name corner within the couple of weeks. Not sure if that was Fabian Morrow or not. I'm going to assume no, but could it be Lattimore? So the one thing we have to talk about with Lattimore is his contract, because it's a hefty one. And, his cap hit for this upcoming year, not bad. The Vikings still have $21 million in cap space, so that's good. They have 21 million. Sorry, I just lost my track real quick. So the Vikings have $21 million in cap space. His cap hit's only $14 million. Then in 2025, the Vikings are supposed to have $50 million in cap space. His hit's only $31 million. Obviously a lot for a cornerback. But in 26, $28 million cap hit. The Vikings can afford him. And this is why I love the move of moving off Kirk Cousins so much, because now this allows you to overpay for maybe an elite corner. If you just want to build a more complete team, take the San Francisco 49ers route of building a complete team around a quarterback on a rookie deal, the Vikings could do that by trading for Lattimore. But Jeremy Fowler was the reporter who connected the Vikings to them. And this is what he had to say about the Saints possibly moving off him, saying the Saints are projected to be a league-high $88 million over the cap in 2025. Trading Lattimore would present the Saints with much-needed flexibility. A former first-rounder out of Ohio State, Lattimore has a reasonable cap hit of $14.6 million in 24, but that figure is set to raise to $31.4 million the following season and $28.6 in 26. From a roster perspective, blueprinting a deal for Lattimore now should be far more realistic option than it was pre-draft, because New Orleans traded up in the second round to select corner Kool-Aid McKinstry, a confident, fluid man corner who could be ready to start when September rolls around, and for much cheaper than Lattimore would demand. Now, Jeremy Fowler threw out this trade idea. Don't know how I feel about it exactly, considering how limited the Vikings draft capital is at the moment. But hey, they'll be giving up a 5th-round pick in 2025, and then also in 26, they'll be giving up a 3rd-round pick. So the Vikings right now have 3 picks in 25, 1 first, 2 fifths. Give up one of those fifths. You'd only have 2 draft picks. I understand it sucks, but you're also getting Marshawn Lattimore. 26, you're giving up a 3rd. Understand you don't want to do it, but I'll tell you what player are you going to draft in the 5th or 3rd round that is going to end up, being like Lattimore? So my take on this, I'm all in. You can, call me crazy, Sam, I'm acting like a fan right now, and I probably am. I have like this Madden mindset where I just think you can grab anybody, but I think it makes sense for the Vikings. Like, you think about it, you wouldn't have to give up that much draft capital to get him. He already has a red flag with his contract, but the Vikings can absorb that contract. And plus, the last time the Vikings had a true cornerback 1 was probably 2017 with Xavier Rhodes. I need a true cornerback 1. Brian Flores needs a true cornerback 1. Don't be shocked if the Vikings end up trading him for him. But this was the deal that Jeremy Fowler threw out there, a 5th and a 3rd round pick to trade for Marshawn Lattimore. Would you guys do it? You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Would you accept this trade? Give me an A for accept or a D for decline. Let me know your thoughts down below. Curious to see what you guys have to say. All right, let's get into the mailbag portion of today's show. I love this part. I just answer questions straight from you guys as a part of our weekly live show here at Chat Sports. But first question coming in from Vikings legend, Adrian Peterson, all day, saying, how would you handle the QB situation? As it stands right now, I can change my take, so don't hold me to this. I would start Sam Darnold week 1, and then it's just a week-to-week thing. Like, if, let's just say, Sam Darnold goes out there, Vikings get a win week 1, he's automatically the starter week 2. But if he goes out there, Vikings lose a brutal game to the Giants, he throws 2 interceptions, fumbles 1 time, has 3 turnovers, and he just doesn't look good, and he's the big reason why we lost, then I think you let the competition head in the next week of practice. But that's how I would handle it right now. Keep it Sam Darnold's QB1 still, even though if I see one more J.J. McCarthy clip at training camp, I might just say he should start, week 1. But, as it stands right now, start Sam Darnold. If it goes wrong, just play it week to week. It's kind of how I would handle it. But DumDum24 saying, who is a free agent cornerback the Vikings need to sign? I'm going to go, I got 2 names. I got Stephon Gilmore, Xavier Howard. I'm going to lean Stephon Gilmore. They both have familiarity with Brian Flores, and Stephon won a depoy under Flo, which I think is key there. I would probably say Stephon Gilmore. He can still be productive on the field. He can be a huge help to the locker room for the young guys. So that's where I would lean. I would go Stephon over Xavier Howard. Plus Xavier has the off the field issues going on right now. But yeah, appreciate your question, Dum. Now we got more questions for you guys coming up in a second. But if you guys want to get a J.J. McCarthy jersey today, that's the link right there, chatsports.com/Vikings jersey. Link for this will be in the comments and description of today's show. Make sure you guys check them out. Click that link and rep number 9 this season at U.S. Bank Stadium. All right, Carlos coming in, talking about Stephon Gilmore and Xavier Howard, saying, are the Vikings going to sign Gilmore or Howard yet? Not sure. Darren Wolfson did say that he expects a big name to be signed by the Minnesota Vikings at the cornerback spot over the next couple of weeks. So, maybe the Vikings make a move there. I don't know if Fabian Morrow was the necessarily big name he was talking about, but Alec Lewis even wrote up an article saying he doesn't think that the Vikings are done making moves at that cornerback position. So I'm going to say, are they going to sign? I would say, bold prediction here. Vikings end up signing Stephon Gilmore. I'm going to say after week 2 of the preseason. Maybe I'll come back and look and be right, but that's my bold prediction. Blake coming in saying, how do you feel about Jets number 18 in the top 100 should be higher? Blake, shout out to you. Thanks for asking that. Yeah, 100% he should be higher. I understand he had injuries last year. We didn't really feel his impact, too much, out there on the field just because he was hurt. And probably the other NFL media members were probably saying, I don't know, when they were voting on it, maybe they just forgot about Jefferson, but it was a crime that CeeDee Lamb was ahead of him. CeeDee is a great receiver. He's a top 5 wide receiver in the National Football League, no doubt about it. But there are levels to it. I think there's a huge gap from Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill. They are the top 2. Then I think there's a huge gap to that 3, 4, and 5 of like Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase, and CeeDee Lamb. I think it's criminal. I think he's closer to being a top 5 player in the National Football League. But Blake, you know what? You know what this means? The chip on his shoulder is just going to continue to grow, man. So I was honestly, okay about it. Harvey coming in saying, what blitz percentage do you think the Vikings defense will have? I'm not going to give you an exact number here, Harvey, but I will say the Vikings will blitz more than any other football team in the National Football League. I saw some crazy stat about the Vikings blitz percentage last year. It was like by far number 1 in the league. And also they also ran 3 safeties 94% of the time, which obviously safeties are the most versatile position on defense. And what's the number 1 buzzword with Brian Flores? Versatility. So if I had to give a percentage, I would say 55. I would say 55% of plays the Vikings end up blitzing. But coming in from I Don't Know, also known as Borse, saying, we are not favored until week 9. How do you feel about that? I'll throw it back to this. Keep building that chip. Keep building that chip. I love it, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Just personally as a person, like I just love playing the underdog. Like it's a lot more fun in my opinion than being the favorite. So yeah, I'm not really too concerned about it. Vikings obviously have a very tough schedule to start off this season, but also let's just say the Vikings start off the year 3-1. Say they beat the Giants, beat the Texans, beat the Packers. And they're 3-1. You got 3 good wins. Like we could be talking about this team then being favored in most of their games in the second half of the year. But Borse, I love it. Just keeps on building that chip around this football team. But Bloop coming in saying, Pat, who is in better position, Michael Penix or J.J. McCarthy? I'm going to say, very similar positions actually. But I'm going to say J.J. just because I don't think Penix has any chance to start this upcoming season. They're going to ride it out with Kirk and see if they can win a division there. But I just think J.J. is in a better position to start and play earlier. But in terms of weapons, like it's actually, I would obviously take the Vikings weapons over the Falcons weapons. But, I'll tell you what, they got Bijan, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. Like they got a ton of dogs over there as well. But I think both of them, Penix and J.J., will actually both being successful in the National Football League. But Blake coming in with another question saying, do you think Ivan Pace will have a big breakout year? 100%. Blake, I think you've been listening to me a little bit as I have turned myself into a massive Ivan Pace fan. He's rocking number 0 this year. He's also going to be wearing the green dot, so he'll be calling the plays on defense. And, the fact that we got him as a UDFA is incredible. People just didn't want to draft him because of his height, and I understand that. But I just think eventually, like, when we are judging these players, like, we just gotta understand that if they're good football players, man, they're good football players. And Ivan Pace had like 21 tackles for loss his senior year at Cincinnati. He's going to take that next step. So, I'm all in on Ivan Pace, man. But appreciate your question. All right, last question coming in from United Mexican States saying, I know this is off topic, but I'm going to ask the chat this. Who is going to win today's game in football, Mexico or Costa Rica? Well, for my man, United Mexican States, I'm going to roll with Mexico. We'll go with Mexico in that game. Olympics have been a ton of fun to watch. Hopefully you guys are tuning in for that. Can't wait for flag football to be in the Olympics in 28. That's going to be a lot of fun as well. But shout out to United Mexican States, always holding it down in the chat. But hey, if you guys made it to the end of today's show, good old-fashioned real one roll call. If you guys made it to the end, give me a real one down in the comment section, and we'll show you guys some love down there. Also, this is my Twitter, @PatSieps. Want more Vikings content in your life on Twitter? Give me a follow over there, and I'll give you guys a follow back. But thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes. All righty. If you guys made it to the end, type real one down below. Shout out to Landon, United. Alan saying Bears or Packers bigger threat this season? Packers, 100%. Bears are the most overrated football team in the league. Yeah, Robert Tonyan was injured today. It was because of back spasms. I want to get you guys that news. Tonyan left practice today because of back spasms. But we had over 1,500 people tune in total today, which is freaking awesome. Shout out to you guys, man. That's sweet. That's sweet. But I'm going to put on a 2-minute shot clock right here. If we don't get any super chats, we're going to sign on off. So 2-minute shot clock is on. If you guys want to keep us live, super chatting, we'll do that. But, besides that, just want to say thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Another awesome live show. Love, getting up on here and chopping it up with you guys. I will be doing the 20-mile run eventually. Don't you worry about that. It's just I think I underestimated that it is going to take 3 hours out of my day, and I'm going to be exhausted. And I'm going on PTO for the next 5 days or so, and I've been staying later at the office this week just to get you guys content when I am gone. So sorry about that. I wish I could have showed the short, but I just didn't have time this weekend. And but don't worry, it would definitely get done. But Roger saying, I love this, fam. Roger, it's starting to feel like football season. Obviously it is getting close to football season, but just being in the live chat, feeling the energy from you guys. Like, I feel it. When you guys are in the chat, you guys are getting active. Like, it is really contagious. But Blake saying SKOL, Landon saying thanks. No, thank you, Landon, for tuning in. Joey Tana saying thank you, Pat. Thank you, Joey. Yeah, Roger, I'm ready. Roger, I'm expecting some magic from you week 1 against the Raiders. We got to light up that studio, man. As we're actually going to have a producer for that game, which is going to be awesome. How do you think about this new CB signing? Good. Just a camp body. Good depth piece. Obviously, he's not going to move the needle there, but he was a good pickup. United Mexican States, shout out to you, man. Holding it down. Oh, it's Garrett coming in with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Garrett. Appreciate you, man. We'll reset it real quick for my man Garrett. He's saying, got you, Pat. SKOL. Shout out to you, Garrett. I can't wait when we're going to have over 1,000 people watching week 1 or preseason week 1 against the Raiders, and you're going to send in a $2 super chat, and you're going to see 1,000 SKOL Garretts get flooded in the chat, man. I cannot wait to get back to it. I cannot wait to get back to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Cameron saying SKOL Patrick Siepman. Shout out to you. Blake saying SKOL Garrett. United Mexican State saying SKOL Garrett as well. You must be talking preseason. Raiders play Chargers week 1. Yeah. Preseason week 1, we take on the Raiders, Buddy Bear. That's going to be a fun game. Obviously, you guys got the Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew debate going on. We got the J.J. McCarthy, Sam Darnold. Very similar teams, actually. Like, you got Jefferson, Devontae Adams. Obviously, you guys... Yeah, Dallas Turner. Yeah, Dallas Turner and Max Crosby. Like, you guys got a good D-line. We got a solid D-line. That'll be a fun game. That'll be a fun game. But we are going to hop on out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Over 1,500 people tuned in. That is awesome. So we'll catch you guys next time. Again, thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. Like, I don't want that to be understated is how much I enjoy hanging out with you guys, man. Buddy Bear, you do have Alexander Madison now. Buddy Bear, don't run Madison at the goal line. He is the worst goal line back in the National Football League. Even though he's a bigger dude, he is terrible in goal to go. But shout out to everybody saying SKOL. We'll see you guys next time. This time next Wednesday, be there. See you guys later. SKOL Vikes, baby.